Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Keith Andrew, and welcome to the Keith Andrew Network. It is episode 779. That's right, 779. Today we have two professional actresses on the show. Our first guest has been on the show before. It's Joyce Portner. Joyce Portner, thank you for coming back for part two. Real honor and privilege having you with us. And making her debut on the KeithAndrewNetwork is Yeena Fisher. That's right, Yeena Fisher, upcoming actors. Both of them are great professional actresses in the entertainment world. They have gone through a lot. They have some amazing stories. And let's hear some of them when we come back. My name is Keith Andrew, and you're watching the Keith Andrew Network. So, Joyce, the first question I want to ask you is, how you been during this crazy time?
Well, I've been okay. I keep busy at home. I did last December, I did a virtual play, and I also was involved in a web series that was shot on Zoom. So I'm staying safe, but a little bit productive. For several months, there was a period where there was nothing going on acting wise. I took walks and I took photos, and I developed a following on Facebook where people were looking forward to my photos. And I wrote a book, which now I've got to I wrote the first draft, but I've got to do the not so fun stuff like arranging the chapter titles and figuring out how it's going to be published and all that. So yeah, I've been pretty productive. And now all of a sudden this year I'm getting auditions.
No, absolutely. Especially now, Broadway is shut down. I was actually fooling around with backstage. I was like introducing myself, because I'm so used to using LinkedIn and Facebook, and I'm like, oh, backstage actually works for me for once. Good news, I don't have to pay for the most of the features. I'm like, okay, but then they cut me off. So like, okay, I sent too many messages. But it's kind of like when you want to get yourself out there, you have to use all social medias, everything you can think of. Mm-hmm. But once you're out there, you're kind of like, been there, done that. You can come to me. I don't have to come to you anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But over a period of years, you develop a lot of friends and followers and things like that. I know I have. So I'm sure you have as well.
No, absolutely. As I mentioned at the beginning, this is the second time you were a guest on my show. And that's why I wanted to have you join us, because you can give our insight, what was it like the first time you were on the show, what was it like being on the second time, and what was the comparisons. But actually, we're going to go to box two. What can you tell us about yourself?
Hi, my name is Yeena Fisher. Thank you for inviting me to your network.
No, the honor's all mine. How you been during quarantine?
I'm doing fine. I have been auditioning on the Zoom and on EchoCast, like self-tape. They request self-tape. And I'm very fortunate that I have been casted into feature films of myth and legend, and shooting in Texas. And there's another film which is going to be coming in 2023 or 2022. Sir Murian, I've been casted in that as well. And I'm shooting something on 22nd and 23rd. I've been casted in that. I auditioned for that role. And I'm so happy about it because it's self-cast, like you self-tape and you record your audition and send it to them. So it is very fortunate.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's impressive that you have all those castings.
Yeah, I'm blessed because it just happened. Things are cooking, I have been auditioning for quite some time. For the last 6 months, like before, last year, I was not doing much, just submitting myself and resting. And I wasn't looking also too much because COVID, and I was at home most of the time.
Right. I was, oh, if I can go ahead and talk.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was busy the first few months of 2019. And then there were two reasons why everything stopped. One is because of COVID. And the other one is because I had the best role of my life and I had to join the union. And once I joined the union, there were a lot of things I could not do because once you're in the union, you can't do non-union projects. So do you want to hear what the best role of my life was?
No, absolutely.
It was a small part, but it was a nice little part on Better Call Saul. So that was very cool. Thank you.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, that was, it was great. They flew me out to Albuquerque and shot that there. So
how do you like it over there in Albuquerque?
Oh, it was nice. I don't think it's as pretty as Santa Fe, but it was very nice. And I have a friend who lives there and she took me on a tour of the town and all that. So it was a great little vacation. Great trip.
Nice.
Absolutely. Hands down, Breaking Bad, one of the best seasons. I know that from season 1 to season 4, season 4, it had the perfect ending, and that should have been it. Season 5 wasn't as good as the other ones, but it's kind of like people don't know when to cut it off. Right. It's like seasons that go for 10 seasons. You gotta get some good ones, you gotta get some crappy ones in between. But once you have the perfect ending, it's kind of like, I'll give you an example I'm talking about. Daredevil on Netflix. Season 1 and 2, absolutely terrific. They knew when to cut it off. Punisher was good. It had its moments, but they knew when to end the story. You had Jessica Jones, you had Iron Fist, the new show, WandaVision. So if you can keep the story going, okay, let's do only 1 or 2 seasons. It's good, but you look at other TV shows like The Big Bang Theory, or you look at cartoons for that matter, like The Simpsons. The Simpsons been on since 1987.
Wow.
And of course, you're going to have some great episodes. You're going to have some crappy ones there. But it's nice to say, hey, we've been on since this point in time. But it's really hard to keep up with the trends and the jokes. But what is your honest opinion? Do you think there should be a set number? Like, okay, let's do 5 seasons, and that's it. We come up with a different show.
Well, I think the standard is 7, that they aim for 7 because then they get syndication after 7 years. But it depends on what the audience is, what the numbers are. If people are still watching it, what the heck? Why not keep going?
Yeah. It depends. It depends on which show you are on and how many episodes it has. And if episodes keep going, then and you have a reoccurring role, so you're fine. You will be in all episodes until the show ends.
No, I agree. A perfect example is to look at Bewitched, one of my favorite shows. I love Samantha. You have Bewitched, I Dream of Jeannie, Star Trek from 1967, Blue Bloods, one of my favorite shows. Once you're on syndicated, I guess, hey, you're getting paid, so I guess you're pretty much set. But it's good to see, your favorite episodes time and time again. But you don't want to sit there and be stagnated. Say, okay, I saw this episode and it's a repeat over repeat. It's good to be on TV. I'm not saying that's everyone's dream, but you also want to do other roles that you say, I'm not just typecast as a certain person. I can branch out and do other things.
Right. And also, about the running out of ideas. It's like sometimes there's a good movie and it's successful. And I say, well, what can we do for a sequel? How can we make this into a franchise? And generally, they don't have as many ideas and the following movies aren't as good in general. I mean, there are exceptions, but in general.
There are times the movies turn into sitcoms or TV serials, there are times people propose, oh, we should make a serial out of it,
No, I agree. For an example, some of the best stories were based on books. Okay, Jurassic Park, the first one, followed the story, but then it kind of changed it a little bit. But Jurassic Park 2, they followed the book all the way up to where the T-Rex is in New York City, and that should have been the ending. By having the T-Rex running around the city, that was completely added with it. So, I mean, you're trying to find another scenario that Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings are free, absolutely free, are the best masterpieces, period. And then you look at Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones 2 is another great hit.
Became serial, yeah. Same thing, Godfather, Godfather 1, 2, and 3, and they did a fantastic job, I love that.
Right, but I think that was probably planned as a trilogy. I think sometimes, though, a movie just is a box office hit, and they're going, okay, what could we do? Like, for example, Home Alone.
Yeah.
Which I like Home Alone, but Home Alone 2 had nothing new to add. It was just like, oh, wow, this was more successful than we thought it would be. Can we do another one and make more money? It didn't really add anything to it or anything.
No, I agree. It's kind of like Jurassic Park. First one, absolutely great. The second one, and because you look at certain things, say, this is a hot thing right now. Let's strike as the iron's hot. Jurassic Park 1, 2, and by 2001, when you get to the third one, it started to die off. But what they're so... You've done everything. Okay, the theme park, the dinosaurs escaped, rescue missions. Then it's kind of like, okay, it's like this Planet of the Apes. Okay, there's apes. Okay, they're fighting now. They're doing this. Then you hit the proverbial wall of saying, okay, they're just dinosaurs. What you gotta do? Have dinosaurs in outer space or something? But
that would be different.
True. I mean, look at Jason
Different approach.
No, absolutely. But
people get creative. They try a different approach. See, maybe it will hit the market. Who knows? I
know. Well, look at Jason Voorhees. Fighting zombies and the undead. I think in Jason 10 that somehow he magically appeared in outer space. Don't ask me how the hell they even pulled that off. But it's kind of like, okay, zombies in space now. When you have a great idea, you never look at a gifted horse in the face. Just be happy with what you have. You make, Transformers, 2007, one of the best movies ever. Then you go to about 2008, 2009, Transformers 2. It wasn't as good, but it was funny.
As good, yeah.
But then everyone says the joke is the third one's the kiss of death. You may get off lucky with the second, but don't push your luck with a third and a fourth because you're just gonna run it straight into the ground. But the question
it depends who is casting, who is producing, and what are you bringing on. Because if you have something new, additives, you are adding something new in it, people will like it. I mean, there are chances people will like it, people may dislike it.
That's true. That's kind of like you say about
all creativity.
It's kind of like how you can say about Power Rangers. You can't put season 1 and season 2, one of the best kids cartoons, but you can't say, hey, we remember that movie back in 1995. Yeah, it really sucked, but at least the kids enjoyed it and we sold toys out of it. You can't, there's certain franchises where you can say this, no matter what, will be the best thing out there. It's Power Rangers. It's all about robots. Kids love robots. Dinosaurs. Who doesn't like dinosaurs? There's certain things where you gotta nail, and you say, oh, home run after home run. But there's certain things you kind of like, Dragon Ball Z. I'm a big diehard Dragon Ball Z. Never going to happen. Never say never, but it's not going to happen because the technology and the storytelling, you have to do it a certain way to hook people, to hook their interest. They got off lucky with Captain America and Iron Man. Those are great. But then you look at the 90s of Captain America and all the other movies, and they were horrible. So everything is a gamble.
It's an interesting story. E.T. is one of the great films of all time. And people keep asking Spielberg to do a sequel. And I don't know if he's going to, but I don't know. I read something about thinking of it. But for years, he said, no, it's perfect. I'm not doing a sequel. He just refused, which I think is a smart thing because it was perfect as it was.
He can come up with another idea and do something better than that, rather than doing a sequel.
Yeah, I think they are considering it now. Elliot has grown up, but I think it's a mistake.
No, I agree with you on.
But I like Wonder Woman. They keep coming up with Wonder Woman 1, 2, and 3, which is fantastic. But when they come up with new serial, they come up with new theme and new ideas, new technology, which is great.
Yeah.
It depends who is doing what.
Absolutely. You can't compare, something like Transformers 2007 and compare that to like Jurassic Park 1993. 1993, Jurassic Park was cutting edge technology. So if you showed someone like Transformers, they're probably gonna, uncensored, shit a brick or something. Like, oh, that's so cool. How did they even do something like that? Because technology in the movie business has came along so far. And that's why
it's long way. Totally revolutionizing.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, it's amazing what they can do.
Yeah. With the VFX effects, most of the time they don't need to even shoot. They can just add VFX effects and make it fly, make it cut, maybe jump. They can make it jump, and fly.
But with the same thing with the special effects, you kind of don't want to take advantage of. If you look at Star Wars, the last one that came out, I'm drawing a blank. The one who did Princess Leia passed away, but they still animated her face in. It's kind of like, okay, yeah, you're telling a story, but you could have easily just replaced it with another scene. It's okay, yes, you want to pay respect, but having dead people it's like promoting, I don't know, like a World War II movie and saying, let's see all those old heroes who died and magically they're on a screen. It's kind of like you're taking the shortcut out, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. It seems like it.
But the other question I want to ask both of you is, being a professional actress. Two questions. The first one is, what is the biggest change that you have made in your life? Whoever wants to start. Yes.
Oh, the biggest change I have made, that I have decided to focus myself on my acting career. Prior to that, before, there were some situations that I was not focusing myself. I was working on my book, and I was not very healthy. But I have decided this year, actually, since last year, I should say 6 months ago, I decided to focus myself on my acting career, and it is paying me. So the most valuable decision I have made is I have decided to focus myself on my acting career.
What about you?
Well, the big difference for me has been being union rather than non-union. And in some cases, I do feel I'm missing out on certain things, but I'm just not interested in bothering with a lot of the projects I was going out for a few years back. I'm being more selective about what I would be interested in doing. And there are things that I can do that are not union, such as, for example, print work, photography, modeling. I look at the project and say, well, is it really interesting to me or not? And why should I do it if I'm not really interested and it doesn't appeal to me? So I'm being more selective about that. But we'll see if I'm going to give it a real push this year. I went out to LA with the thought of I was going to be out there for 3 months. One of my friends said she thought I'd do very well in LA. And I went out there at the end of December. And right after I went out there, the COVID got terrible, really terrible there. Production shut down. And I only stayed for 3 weeks. So I'm considering going back for a couple of months later in the year. I'll see how that goes. Give it a shot more broadly outside of the Chicago market. And then we'll see. If I don't get anything, then I'll consider non-union projects. But right now I'd like to simply only do union for the rest of the year.
Oh, I agree. And a lot of people say about my show, is it union, is it non-union? To be honest, I don't really think it makes a difference because I don't pay people and I never have, never will pay people. Okay, I paid one person, but going forward, never have, never will. But it's kind of like, it doesn't matter if you're unionized or you're not. But yes, let me answer that in 2 parts. The first one is, by doing the show, you're supporting someone with disabilities reach their goal and get their message out there. At the same time, being union, you have someone watching your back. It doesn't matter if it is in films or just everyday life. If you're part of a union, so you have someone watching you. And there was an opportunity where I actually was a part, when I worked in Woodbury Commons, I saw a commercial being filmed. And they asked me, are you union? I said, no, I'm not. And so at that point, they kind of lost interest. But when I said, I am a podcaster who has a big following and has a disability, that, from now said, okay, we will kind of work with you, but we only work with union people. So yes, I mean, it's great because, it doesn't matter if you work in an office job, you work in a school, it's great to have a union. But without having a union, I can vouch for this. I worked at a lot of jobs where they pretty much crapped all over you and say, we can do whatever we want to you because it's non-union. So going back to the entertainment world, it's always good to work with the union, but at the same time, it kind of varies on certain roles that you can and cannot get.
Yeah, sometimes I go, well,
there are times that non-union roles are more paying, and SAG is very competitive, and I mean they're very selective also.
Yeah, so I don't know. We'll see by the end of the year. There's a status called FICOR, and I'd prefer not to have to go FICOR, but if I don't get any castings by the end of the year, I'll consider that. But right now, all of a sudden, there's auditions. I had an audition last weekend. I've got 2 more auditions coming up for films. So I'm hoping that there's going to be this whole big backlog of work. And all these auditions are for SAG roles, which last year it seemed like there wasn't anything for SAG. It was all non-union, I guess because of COVID or whatever. But now I'm getting auditions, so hopefully I'll be able to stick with the SAG status and get some roles.
Yeah, knock on wood.
That's great.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I do have 2 requests for you guys off the air. But wrapping up, when I first approached you to be a guest on my show once again, and being a guest on the show for the very first time, what was your honest opinion? What made you say yes? And after being a guest, how do you feel now? and what do you recommend to other people? And Joyce, I will start with you.
Oh, well, I thought that was kind of an honor that you asked me to come back. And also the last time I was on your show, I was having technical problems. And I thought, oh, this really, it sounds bad and not very good. So it was a chance to show up decently, have some decent technology and do a decent appearance and kind of rectify that. And I just thought it'd be fun. And as well as helping, as you say, someone with disabilities. So a good cause as well.
Absolutely. And you can always put it on your resume, volunteer work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, how about you?
For me, I was honored when you asked me to come on your network for an interview. I mean, I was very happy about it. But I was thinking, I have no idea what kind of show it is. So I searched a little bit, and it is a good experience. Like, it's nice talking to you, getting to know you and about your network. And I'm very happy to be here.
No, I really appreciate it. And wrapping up our talk show, you don't have to have a learning disability or any types of disabilities to be on the show. A lot of people oh, you have a talk show about disabilities. Like that, so I have to have a disability. No, that's not the case. By being on the show, you're supporting a message and just supporting a cause, and you're making a new friend out of it. It's not to say it's when you think about, it's a disability show, you're already putting a label on it. And the point of my show is to break the label and to show you labels do not dictate who you are and who you're going to be. To prove them and them out to something. Just because you don't see that I have a disability, or you don't really see people with disabilities that much on the show, doesn't take away from the message, because there are hundreds of disabilities out there.
Yeah, that's true. People should not label, and people should not avoid opportunities. This is entertainment business. And the more you speak about it, the more you talk to people, more you network with people, the better you are in your field.
No, absolutely. Now, I do have 2 requests for you guys off the air. But wrapping up, it was a real honor and privilege having you as a guest. And I just want to say thank you for your time.
Hi, it's Mimi Chen.
Hi, my name is Ellen George.
It's Shauna Todd.
Hey guys, I'm Anastasia Edwards.
Hi, this is Jackie Nunez.
Hi, I'm Millie Rose Fair.
Hey guys, I'm Alexandria Denise, and you're watching Keith Andrew's show. He's doing a terrific job. Make sure you like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more awesomeness.